and welcome to the radiotimes.com Doctor Who podcast. My name's Hugh, and this week I'm joined once again by radiotimes.com gaming editor Rob Lean. Hello, Rob. Thanks for coming.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No problem. So Rob and I are, as ever, we're in different locations, as you may be able to tell by our differing sound quality. I'm actually in the home of modern Doctor Who. I'm in Cardiff, not for any Doctor Who purposes, for something else. But I feel like I feel like you guys listening at home will just get the vibes, the Cardiff vibes, those Doctor Who vibes.
You're closer to the rift, so that's going to cause some issues.
It's true. That's going to cause some issues. I mean, yeah, I'm slightly closer to the cast of the current era of Doctor Who than I was when I was in London, but sort of in terms of access, in no way closer. Speaking of which, so we're actually talking about the new series this week. So last week, Morgan and I were chatting about trailers, the ones we love, the ones that were a bit weird, and also when we were likely to see one for Series 13. And we have this whole spiel about, will it be September? Will it be August? I think we kind of landed on, or could it even be July? Because of, that's when we've had a series starting in the autumn before. We've come out in July. And literally the day we put the podcast out, Doctor Who announced this panel they're doing at San Diego Comic-Con, which is in this month, July. So we were sort of right in that we sort of said every month as a possibility. And eventually we had to get one right. To be fair, we don't know there will be a trailer at this panel, but it seems pretty likely. It's a panel which has Jodie Whittaker, Amanda Gill, John Bishop, obviously a new companion, head writer / showrunner Chris Chibnall. But there's also someone else coming along who we're quite interested in. I don't know if Rob, do you want to read the tweet out? Do you want to read the wording, the specific wording?
Okay, so join Jodie Whittaker, Amanda Gill, John Bishop, Chris Chibnall, and a very special surprise guest for a virtual San Diego Comic-Con panel, moderated by Melanie McFarland on Sunday, 25th of July.
So you can tell the person we're interested in. I'm sure she's lovely. It's not Melanie McFarland particularly. I think she'll do a great job, but it's this special surprise guest, which has been quite surprising. Obviously, a lot of people immediately leapt to, oh my God, it's the next Doctor. And I did do a little tweet saying like, hey, Ollie Alexander, glad you could make it. But I would be surprised if that's how the BBC decided to unveil. The last ones were, Matt Smith got his own special Doctor Who Confidential episode at length where they talked about all the different Doctors. Peter Capaldi had a special on BBC One with like a sort of one show type kind of celebration with loads of stars. And Jodie Whittaker had this specially filmed video which they put out at Wimbledon, sort of the height of TV. And then they were like, okay, so for the next one, we're going to put them on a stream at a Comic-Con. We're just going to have them sitting there on Zoom on their camera. I don't see that happening. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's like a sliding scale from like who's the least exciting person it could be. If they kind of wheeled out like, a writer or producer or something that you've never heard of. Kind of
is our special surprise guest, the costume designer. And that would be interesting, but I feel like they might have overhyped it a little bit there. I'd be surprised. It's not going to be the next Doctor because, to be honest, I wouldn't see them announcing that until next year anyway, for my 2 cents. It's possibly, I mean, the thing that seems the most kind of obvious would be a guest star, right? Like some actor who's in it, and maybe if they're showing a trailer, then this person is maybe in the trailer, and then that's what they'll do. They'll have a little intro, show the trailer, and then this person's unveiled, and then they get them in and they'll kind of chat about their role in the series. And I've seen some names kicked around. I saw some people suggesting Kevin McNally, who is he's an actor who is in a bunch of stuff. He's Gibbs in the Pirates of the Caribbean films. Apparently he's been spotted on set, so people think it could be him. I wonder if that's I don't know if that's what they would be teasing. Also, it seems a bit odd to pick him over any other guest star, unless it's just that they're filming that at the moment and they're going to do, it could be that this panel's going to be like filmed from, Cardiff with all of them together. So maybe it's just that person's there. But I wonder if it's more likely to be kind of a fairly major character this series, which made me wonder, could it be Sacha Dhawan? Because that seems plausible, right?
Yeah, I think that seems plausible. I think, that would be quite high up on the sliding scale. It'd be nice to have him come out, and he always does very well in trailers and things. So you can imagine there being like a trailer with a really cool master moment at the end of it, and then
exactly
you bring him
at the
out.
end you do all the kind of like beats and stuff, and you have a little bit of voiceover, and it cuts to and it's the master there saying something evil, and then it goes like coming this autumn, something like that. I could just totally see that. And the thing is, it's the sort of reveal that I think the Doctor Who lot quite like pulling off. Like before the last series, they kind of revealed that the Cybermen were in it a few weeks before, but that was after the Cybermen. People kind of already knew the Cybermen were going to be in it. And I wonder with this Sacha Dhawan, theory, that the reason that he could be the special surprise guest is that technically he's not been confirmed, and no one knows if he's in the next series. But it wouldn't be a big surprise. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't necessarily be like a big spoiler to know that he is, if he's like got a major arc in it. It would kind of make sense. I mean, to be honest, it would be silly if it is Jodie Whittaker's last series, it would be silly of them to not have him in it, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're right as well. Like, I think he qualifies as a very special surprise for Comic-Con. Like, that's kind of about the right level. Like, if it was like they've got some huge, Hollywood person to be in it, I don't think.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. as the Rani. That would be a bit of a twist. No, I think that's kind of what I think. Also, he's kind of part of the Doctor Who, the TARDIS team family, in that he's kind of a recurring guest star. He's sort of quite close to the cast. It would sort of fit for me that he'd do it. Equally, it could be that, there's some other big character this series. I mean, let's put it out there. We've talked about it for ages. What if it's, Alex Kingston, aka River Song? Fans have been asking for her to come back for ages. They've been saying, we need to see the Doctor's wife with the first female Doctor. That's quite an interesting dynamic. I think you and I might have even spoken about this before. I think we've talked more about will River Song come back to Doctor Who more than almost any other topic on this podcast. I mean, what do you think? Plausible?
Yeah, I think it's plausible. And again, yeah, because although she's not been in it for a few years, she's kind of one of those that's kind of stuck around in the Doctor Who family doing her books and her audio adventures and things. So I think, again, she's kind of at the right kind of level that you would say, let's announce her at Comic-Con. That'll be a nice touch.
It's the sort of thing that the sort of fans who watched Comic-Con would like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like she's also, people kind of remember her. She's been with, apart from Christopher Eccleston, she's the one thing that unites all four modern Doctors, David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi. Well, not Jodie Whittaker yet, but possibly with this. I feel like it'd be kind of a nice thing to tie together. And we asked her about this recently, and she didn't deny it. She sort of was a little bit cagey, which could just be, God, how often are these idiots going to ask me this question about whether I'm in Doctor Who again? Or it could have been, maybe there was something in the works. I mean, I'd be interested. I mean, the thing about this announcement, part of the reason I thought it was worth doing a kind of mini podcast about it this week, is because, we are speculating about something we'll just find out quite soon. But the fact that they are sort of teeing up this special surprise guest does kind of give us a bit of a hint at this new series. And, could it be structured around this kind of big guest person? Are they a big part of the series, or are they just, someone who happens to be on set at the moment? Doctor Who is filming at the moment, and maybe they decided to take that opportunity to film as many kind of actors as they could while they have them. I mean, to be fair, they could be doing this panel like they did last time, just over Zoom, like Rob and I are doing this podcast. But it could be that, seeing as they have them all on set, they could do like Discovery of Witches did at Comic-Con last year, where they had all the cast sitting there, because they've got them tested. They can have them next to each other. It's a better vibe. Why wouldn't you? So yeah, I'm interested to see, could it be the Master? Could it be River Song? Could it be Kevin Mcnally? Don't know whose character that is. Or, could it be someone else entirely? I'm kind of intrigued. Could it be, a Zygon, just a guy in a Zygon outfit? Or that would be quite cool if they had a special surprise guest that just turned out to be like a Dalek, doing some panel questions and, describing the new series in 3 words, none of which could be exterminate. I mean, I'd watch that, wouldn't you?
I would. And it just reminded me, do you remember, I don't know if it was when they first announced him, but there was a moment with Andrew Garfield at Comic-Con where he was sat in the audience in a Spider-Man outfit. And then they did like the Q&A bit, and he they gave, this guy's got a question, and like he took off his mask and it was, oh my God, it's Andrew Garfield. You could do something like that with Doctor Who, where like you've got like a Dalek just off to the side of the stage, and then suddenly, it opens up and, Sacha Dhawan's been hiding in there all day.
Oh, it's Robert Downey Jr. Oh my God. It's Andrew Garfield again. He's reprising his role as that guy from evolution of the Daleks. What was his name? I can't remember his name. He didn't get turned into a pig slave, but he made friends with pig slaves. I believe that was his arc. Yeah, no, it should be interesting, and I'm looking forward. We'll obviously as well. Slightly burying the lead here, we will see a bit of presumably John Bishop talking about being in Doctor Who, which should be exciting because we haven't really heard that much about his character yet. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to finding out a bit about Series 13, and it's nice to see, the kind of Doctor Who hype / publicity machine kind of ramping up again.
Yeah, definitely. And the only other person in my head, I think maybe just because, again, I think we've spoken about him multiple times, is just any time where there's going to be a special surprise Doctor Who someone, I'm like just willing it to be Christopher Eccleston, and he's coming back for a special
that'd be cool.
multi-Doctor thing.
I did see some people suggesting David Tennant actually, because there's this there was this rumor about a 60th anniversary special next year, or not next year, the year after, in 2023, and that he was going to come back for that and team up with Jodie Whittaker or whatever, which is a little unlikely, but that would be a great, for Jodie Whittaker's last year. Oh yeah, also David Tennant's in it. That would be a pretty good special surprise guest. And we never know. I mean, we really don't know what this special surprise guest could be. We assume it's something to do with Series 13. It could be something else. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But what do you think, people listening at home? Do you think we've nailed it? Have we got the answer somewhere within this podcast? Could it be Alex Kingston, Sacha Dhawan, Kevin McNally, someone else? Or have we completely missed a trick, and do you have some theories? Please let us know in the comments, and let us know what you're excited to see in Series 13 generally. Hopefully we'll see a trailer very soon, and then we can talk all about that. And indeed we will, here on the radiotimes.com Doctor Who podcast. We'll chat about that in the days after it happens on the 25th of July in a couple of weeks. Until then, and indeed until the episodes in between that, I've been Hugh.
And I've been Rob.
And our special surprise guest has been, oh no, we lost the connection. Oh dear. We paid for that Dalek costume for nothing. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.